Hi guys, I'm back and I'm doing the best I can. Bear with me, I'm not doing anything fancy, but I thought this might help. Slope-intercept form is when we write an equation in the form y equals mx plus b. Remember, m, whatever number is attached to the x, would be our slope, the steepness of the line. The b is the number that follows the x term, and we call that our y-intercept. The y-intercept is the place where when we graph a line, where it would cross the y-axis. We'll talk more about that later. So notice, in order to find the slope in the y-intercept, an equation must be solved for y in this correct order. If it's not in this correct order, you must solve it for y first. Here's an example. If they say, if the slope is 3, we call slope m, and the b, or y-intercept, is 4, what would the equation be? Well, you take the 3 and plug it in where the m would be, and you take the 4 and plug it in where your b, y-intercept would be, and we would know our equation would be y equals 3x plus 4. What if they asked me to graph that? So this is where I'm going to talk about the y-intercept a little bit, and pardon me, I'm trying to write and video at the same time. To graph the y-intercept, you go to the y-axis. So in this case, our y-intercept is b. So we count from 0, or our origin, up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we would put a point. From there, you would rise and run your slope. So we would go up 3 and over 1. But notice I'm going off the line or off the graph. So another way of writing slope, so I could stay on the graph, I could also say it's -3 over -1, right? So I could go down 3 and over 1. I'm going to put my point. And now I have my 2 points, so I could graph my equation. Now, of course, you should be using a ruler. I'm trying to do this free-handed. So you would graph your line, arrows on the end, and then that's where we would write our equation on the line. So again, you always start with your y-intercept on the y-axis, and you would rise and run your slope. The only reason I chose to do -3 over -1 is if I divided, it still gives me a +3, but I didn't have enough room on my graph to continue going up. So I went down 3 and to the left 1. And notice if I went up 3 to the right 1, it would still, my answer would still end up on this line. More to follow. Hope you are well.